My ex-wife, Eleanor, left me with nothing but shattered dreams and empty pockets after our divorce. But a year later, when I hit the lottery jackpot, she had the audacity to sue me for half. Little did she know, I had a trap waiting that she'd never see coming. And that, my friends, is exactly how Eleanor's downfall truly began. Before dive into the story, PLZ subscribe for your unforgettable stories. Eleanor and I had been married for 6 years. To the outside world, we seemed like a perfect couple. I, Arthur, had a stable IT job, and she was a freelance graphic designer. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. Or so I thought. I started noticing small things. Eleanor's schedule got weird. Late client meetings, long errands. She started dressing up more, even for casual coffee. And her phone? Glued to her hand, never left face up. I'm not an idiot, and something felt off. One night, I casually asked about her day. Her answers were vague, and she quickly changed the subject. I didn't push, but I started paying closer attention. She'd leave without her laptop, her social media hinting at a single life. The breaking point hit one evening when she left her laptop open. I wasn't snooping, just moving it, but a message notification popped up. It was from some guy named Kyle. Last night was amazing. I could have exploded. But I'm a planner. I wasn't going to give her a chance to twist anything. I opened the messages. A horrifying 2-month-long thread between her and Kyle. They'd met at yoga, had secret meetups, and she was planning to leave me when the time was right. I wasn't just mad, I was focused. I forwarded everything to myself, took screenshots, and built a solid folder of evidence. She wasn't getting an inch of wiggle room. The painful truth and a new beginning. The next day, I called a lawyer. I laid out the whole ugly truth. He warned me it would be a brutal fight without a prenup, but with my evidence, we had a strong case for divorce based on infidelity. When I finally confronted Eleanor, I didn't yell. I just showed her the messages and said, "So, when were you planning on telling me?" She froze, tried to deny it, but the evidence was too strong. Then, she switched tactics, blaming me for not being attentive enough. I shut it down. This isn't about me. It's about you. We done. That's when the real battle started. Eleanor wasn't going to let me walk away easily. She lawyered up, demanding half my savings, the house, the car, even my retirement. She claimed she'd sacrificed so much for our marriage. The divorce was hell. Her lawyer dragged it out, making my life miserable. At one point, Eleanor even claimed she needed more money because she'd emotionally supported me. The audacity. My lawyer said we had a good shot at winning in court, but after months of fighting, I was exhausted. I just wanted it over. So, I made a choice. I let her have it. It wasn't worth the mental toll. The day the divorce was final, a huge weight lifted. I was broke, but I was free. I had no idea then how powerfully karma would return. After the divorce, my life became about work and survival. Starting over from nothing wasn't a cliché, it was my reality. I was 35, living in a tiny, dingy flat with second-hand furniture. My comfortable life was gone, but I was determined. The flat was grim, scuffed floors, a tiny kitchen, loud neighbors. My living room was a cheap futon and a broken TV. But it was mine. No Eleanor, no Kyle, no reminders of how badly I'd been betrayed. I threw myself into my IT job, taking every extra shift, every freelance gig. Weekdays blurred. Sleep was optional. It wasn't healthy, but I had a goal: rebuild my savings and prove I could thrive without her. The first few months were tough. My bank account was almost empty, and I was constantly exhausted. I'd stare at the pile of bills, wondering how I got there. But then I'd remember, I was free. No more Eleanor telling me I wasn't good enough, no more lies. That thought kept me going. I quickly realized how little I actually needed. When you're stripped bare, you find what's important: a roof, food, and the drive to move forward. It was liberating to let go of all the material things Eleanor obsessed over. Social media didn't make it easy. Eleanor and Kyle were living it up in my old house, with my old car, constantly posting relationship goals pictures. I could have blocked her, but a part of me wanted to see how it played out. I knew people like them self-destruct. My rise, her fall. And sure enough, cracks started to show. Friends told me Kyle wasn't the loving guy Eleanor thought. He'd quit his job and was burning through her money, living off her for everything. The house she'd fought so hard for? Falling apart. The car? Kyle crashed it within 6 months. Hearing about their downfall gave me a little satisfaction, I won't lie. But I focused on my own life. My first big milestone was paying off my debts. It took months of scrimping, but I cleared them all. The day I paid off the last one, I celebrated with a cheap pizza and a TV binge. It felt incredible. Next, I rebuilt my savings. Strict budget. No eating out, no impulse buys. I became a meal prepping machine. My bank account slowly grew. I also started taking care of myself, going to the gym. It wasn't about revenge. It was about feeling stronger, more confident. Work boomed. All those extra shifts paid off. I built a strong reputation and got a promotion. The pay raise wasn't massive, but it was validation that I could stand on my own. As I got more stable, I allowed myself small luxuries: a real couch, a decent coffee maker, a weekend trip. Life wasn't just about survival anymore. By the end of that first year, I was a completely different person. Not just surviving, but thriving. Eleanor and Kyle? Not so much. Kyle drained her savings, maxed out her credit cards, and left her high and dry. She lost the house, the car, everything she took from me. Karma truly works fast. But honestly, I didn't care about them anymore. My focus was on myself, the life I was rebuilding. I wasn't rich, but I was happy. I'd learned I didn't need her, a fancy house, or a flashy car to feel successful. All I needed was my own drive and determination. I did it all without her drama dragging me down. I was finally in control. The unthinkable lottery win. One Friday, at a petrol station, I saw the lottery tickets. Normally, I'd ignore them, but for some reason, I thought, why not? I stuffed a ticket in my pocket and forgot about it. Days later, I saw a headline: unclaimed jackpot, sold at a local petrol station. My heart pounded. I dug out the crumpled ticket. I didn't expect anything, but when I compared the numbers, I nearly dropped my phone. Every single number matched. I sat there, staring, refreshing the website. This doesn't happen to people like me. The next morning, the lottery office confirmed it. £10 million after taxes. £10 million. My brain couldn't process it. I told no one. I didn't want to be one of those lottery winners who blows it all. I hired a financial advisor and an attorney before claiming the prize. They helped me set up a trust, allowing me to claim anonymously. Best decision ever. Once the money was in my account, I made a plan. I put most of it into investments. I allowed myself a few upgrades, a modest house in a quiet neighborhood, a reliable new car. Nothing flashy, just comfortable and dependable. I bought a few nice things for the house. No extravagant holidays, no designer clothes. I didn't need that. I needed peace of mind, and for the first time in years, I had it. The weirdest part wasn't the money, it was the freedom. No stress about bills, no constant overtime. I could breathe. It completely changed my perspective. I also quietly gave back, donating to charities, helping friends who were struggling. No fanfare, just making a difference. I kept my win a secret. Only my best friend, Mark, knew. People act strange around money, and I wanted no chaos. Life after the win was quiet and simple, just how I liked it. I still worked part-time, enjoying it. I spent my free time on my house, the gym, enjoying my stability. Winning the lottery didn't change who I was. It gave me a chance to start over on my own terms, and I was grateful. Little did I know, my past wasn't quite as far behind me as I thought. The serpent returns. Nothing ruins a perfectly good afternoon like seeing your cheating ex-wife, Eleanor, standing in your driveway. I barely recognized her. Life hadn't been kind. Her carefully put-together look was gone. She was trying to fake confidence, but it was just an act. I'd heard from her a couple of weeks before, a random Facebook message, "Hey Arthur, how have you been?" I ignored it. Then came ignored calls from unknown numbers. Eleanor doesn't give up, especially when she smells profit. I was right. There she was, uninvited. I didn't bother with pleasantries. I opened the door just enough to block her view of the house. "Eleanor, what do you want?" She tried to act casual. "Can I just stop by to catch up? It's been so long." I crossed my arms. "We have nothing to catch up on. Say what you came to say and leave." She sighed, dropping the act. "Fine. I heard you've been doing well. Rumor has it you hit the lottery." There it was. I don't know how she found out, but I knew why she was here. She smelled money. "Even if that's true," I said, my voice steady, "it has nothing to do with you. We're divorced, remember?" She shrugged. "I'm just saying, Arthur, we were married for years. Don't you think I'm entitled to something? After all, I supported you through so much." I almost laughed. "Supported me?" She took half of everything and ran off with Kyle. "You're not entitled to a thing. Whatever I have now, I earned after the divorce. You got what you wanted back then. Don't push your luck." Her smile faltered, but she wouldn't back down. "Well, I think we should talk about it. Maybe over dinner or coffee. We could figure something out." I shook my head. "There's nothing to figure out. You should leave." Her expression hardened. "I'm not leaving, Arthur. Not until we've sorted this out." That's when I realized she wasn't just fishing, she was planning something. Eleanor never showed her hand unless she thought she had a winning one. I didn't know her angle, but I wasn't letting her back in. "Leave now or I'm calling the police," I said firmly. She scoffed. "Fine. But this isn't over." She drove off, but I knew she'd be back. Eleanor doesn't quit when she thinks there's profit. Over the next few days, she bombarded me with texts and emails. Guilt, nostalgia, flattery. "I was there for you when you were nothing. Don't you think you owe me something?" I ignored every message. Blocking her number didn't help, she just emailed instead. I saved everything. Then came the second unannounced visit. No pretending this time. She showed up on my porch and demanded to talk. "I'm serious, Arthur. We need to settle this. If you don't want to do it the easy way, I'll have to take legal action." I raised an eyebrow. Legal action? On what grounds? We've been divorced for over a year. You've got nothing. She smirked. "Oh, I think I do. There are laws about assets acquired during marriage, you know. If you bought that lottery ticket while we were still married, I'm entitled to half." Her logic was flawed, but I wouldn't let her see me sweat. "Good luck with that," I said, shutting the door in her face. I fumed the rest of the day. Eleanor didn't care about truth or law, she cared about what she could get. If she thought she could grab a sliver of my winnings, she wouldn't stop. I called Amanda, my attorney. She assured me Eleanor had no case. "The timeline is clear," Amanda said. "You bought and claimed the ticket well after the divorce. She can try, but it won't hold up." Still, Eleanor was irrational. I told Amanda to prepare. A few days later, I was served with court papers. Ridiculous, but expected. I wasn't worried. Amanda had the facts. But it would be a fight. Eleanor was determined to make my life difficult, and I wasn't letting her win. The battle was just starting. If she thought she could bully me into giving her a dime, she was in for a rude awakening. The trap springs, her downfall. Walking into a courthouse to face your ex in a legal battle is surreal, like reliving the worst parts of your life with everyone watching. The day of the hearing, I arrived early with Amanda. She was calm, reassuring me we had nothing to worry about. Eleanor, on the other hand, waltzed in like a reality TV star, all dolled up, heels echoing, a smug look on her face. Her lawyer followed, clutching a folder of what I assumed was nonsense. The courtroom was smaller than I expected, not like the dramatic scenes on TV. Just a judge, a court reporter, and a few people. Eleanor and her lawyer sat on one side, Amanda and I on the other. The judge began by reviewing the case. Eleanor claimed my lottery winnings were marital assets I'd hidden during the divorce. Her lawyer argued I'd intentionally concealed the ticket, depriving her of her legal entitlement. When it was Amanda's turn, she dismantled their argument. She showed the judge official lottery documents proving the ticket was bought and claimed after the divorce was final. Then, Amanda produced my financial records, demonstrating the lottery deposit happened long after the divorce, completely separate from our joint accounts. The judge listened intently. Then, Eleanor took the stand. She gave a tearful speech about her hard marriage, her sacrifices, and her betrayal over the winnings. It was pure theater. "I trusted him," she sobbed, "and he kept this secret from me. I don't think I'll ever recover from that kind of deception." Recover from what? She was recovering from Kyle draining her dry, but she didn't mention that. During cross-examination, Amanda made it interesting. "Eleanor, your divorce from Arthur was finalized on this date, correct?" Eleanor nodded. "And you've seen the documentation showing the ticket was purchased after that date, haven't you?" Eleanor tried to backtrack. "I don't know when he bought it. For all I know, he could have bought it while we were still married and just waited to claim it." Amanda didn't miss a beat. "Are you suggesting the Lottery Commission would falsify their records to align with Arthur's timeline?" Eleanor stammered, clearly flustered. I'm not saying that, but what?" Amanda pressed. "The evidence is clear. You've seen it yourself. There is no overlap between your marriage and the lottery winnings, isn't that correct?" Eleanor had no choice but to whisper, "Yes." Amanda didn't stop. She reminded the court of Eleanor's significant divorce settlement. "The house, the car, a portion of my savings. You've already benefited financially from the divorce, haven't you?" Eleanor played the victim again, claiming she'd been forced to use the money to survive. Amanda pounced. "So you're asking this court to award you additional money, despite having no legal claim, simply because you spent your previous settlement?" The courtroom fell silent. Even Eleanor's lawyer looked regretful. "When it was my turn, I kept it short. I spoke about the timing of the ticket, my proper claim, how I'd tried to move on, and how Eleanor had appeared out of nowhere demanding money." The judge listened carefully, then asked for final arguments. Eleanor's lawyer gave a half-hearted speech about marital contributions, but it was clear he had nothing. When the judge finally delivered his decision, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. He dismissed Eleanor's case as baseless and warned her against future frivolous lawsuits. He even reprimanded her lawyer for bringing such a weak case. Eleanor was furious, her face red, jaw clenched. I half expected her to scream, but she barely held it together. The whole ordeal was stressful, but justice was served. She tried to take what wasn't hers, and she was shut down publicly. You'd think after losing in court, Eleanor would get the message. But no. Eleanor, being Eleanor, wouldn't give up. As we left the courthouse, she was waiting in the car park. "You'll regret this, Arthur," she screamed, red-faced. "You think this is over? I'll ruin you." I didn't respond. I just looked at her, shrugged, and walked to my car. Engaging would only feed her tantrum. Besides, I had bigger plans. Here's the thing about Eleanor, she's predictable. She thrives on chaos and thinks she's smarter than everyone. But she's not. I knew she wouldn't let this go, so I decided to teach her a lesson she'd never forget. Over the next week, I planted seeds through mutual acquaintances. I casually mentioned I was looking into a high-profile real estate investment, a luxury condo project, the next big thing. There was no such project. It was a fabrication Amanda and I cooked up to bait her. Predictably, word got back. Soon, she reached out through one of those contacts, claiming interest in partnering on this imaginary deal. She acted like she was doing me a favor, boasting about her real estate connections. I let her think she was in control. I told her I was intrigued and would set up a meeting with the developers. What Eleanor didn't know was that the developers were Amanda and her legal colleague, posing as real estate executives. At the meeting, Eleanor was dressed to impress, playing the high-powered investor. She threw around buzzwords, ROI, equity stakes, market trends, trying to convince us of her expertise. Crucially, she brought fake financial documents to prove she could back the investment. This was exactly what we needed. Amanda and her colleague played along, asking questions, feigning impressment. I sat back, letting her dig her own hole. By the end of the meeting, Eleanor was beaming with confidence, sure she'd secured a slice of this made-up pie. She had no idea what was coming. After the meeting, Amanda and I reviewed her documents. They were laughably bad. Poorly doctored bank statements, forged letters of credit, and made-up asset details. It was fraud, plain and simple. We took everything to the authorities, who were thrilled. Fraud cases like this are their specialty, and Eleanor had handed them all the evidence on a silver platter. A few weeks later, Eleanor was arrested. She was blindsided. She had no idea the investment opportunity was a sting operation until the handcuffs clicked. The fallout was spectacular. Eleanor was charged with fraud, forgery, and other related crimes. Her fake financials and attempt to manipulate her way into the deal made her case airtight. Her lawyer tried to argue she'd been misled, but the evidence was overwhelming. The court showed no mercy: fines, probation, mandatory community service, and her reputation utterly destroyed. Word spread fast. Everyone in her social circle knew. She went from a savvy investor to the punchline of every joke. I can't lie, watching her fall was satisfying. After years of manipulation and scheming, she was finally caught and held accountable. It wasn't just about the money, it was about showing her she couldn't walk all over people without consequences. For me, it was perfect revenge. I didn't have to fight or scream. Her own greed and arrogance did the work. She thought she could outsmart me, but she only outsmarted herself. After the case, Eleanor tried to reach out one last time. A long, rambling email full of excuses, blaming everyone but herself. She even asked if I could help her financially. I didn't respond. She'd made her bed. The whole ordeal taught me a lot about myself. Walking away from her was the best decision I ever made. Winning the lottery was great, but the real prize was being free of her toxicity, knowing I'd come out on top no matter how hard she tried to drag me down. Eleanor thought she could ruin me, but all she did was ruin herself. And honestly, I'm good with that. Do you resonate with this story of betrayal, resilience, and unexpected turns? Share your own experiences below. Like, share, and subscribe for more dramatic true tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat.